I almost stabbed him in the eye with a pencil while he was pretending to be asleep. Ask Reddit on Reddit Rundown. What's your darkest secret? I once beat the living hell out of my brother-in-law in an act of pure rage. He always yelled at my niece for doing, you know, child stuff, smashing things, being loud and all of that. Hell, she was a bit over 2 years old. We always tried to calm him down when he was around his kids, but it never really worked. I was always sick of it, but I myself, grew up with an abusive father and thought to myself he would never be such a bad dad as he was. Then one evening, my niece was fooling around again and my brother-in-law lost his shit again, but this time, he hit her. And not just soft slap. He almost full swing slapped her across the face. But that wasn't the end. As my sister tried to get him to calm down, he pushed her so hard away that she fell really hard to the ground. With tears in her eyes, she took my niece and went into the house with her. I was just walking around the corner as it happened. I swear to God I was never an aggressive person, but I lost all my control about myself and just saw blood red. He walked into the garage to smoke a cigarette and I walked after him and slammed him head first into the wall and punched and kicked the life out of him for at least 5 minutes straight. He was barely able to stand up and walk as I slowed down and realized that he was begging me to stop. I put him in my car and drove him a few streets away and just threw him out. He never came back to our house and my sister still doesn't know why. She was crying after him month after month because she couldn't figure out why he left. Hell, she was so bound to this piece of shit that she couldn't see it was for the best. I guess I will never tell her what happened and my niece will forget that he even hit her. But I swear to God, if anybody ever hurts my niece in such a way, I'm not going to stop again. I was sexually abused by my father from age 8 to 15. We never actually had sex, and he was never aggressive, it just happened. He used to whisper, "You feel so soft," into my ear. Now I'm 28, and I always date aggressive, controlling, possessive, violent men. I call them daddy during sex. It creeps me out, but during the moment I just can't help myself. No boyfriend has ever complained, and if I'm lucky they'll tell me I'm a good girl. It's fucked up. He went tumbling down the stairs, crashing headfirst into the wall. I was 8. I have a little brother with severe autism. He is 2 years younger than me. One day, my mom called to me upstairs and told me to bring my little brother downstairs because Sesame Street was going to be on. He does not talk but can walk, only very slowly. We got to the top of the stairs and started walking down. I got frustrated that he was walking so slowly and poked him so he would hurry up. Then, a step later he stepped on my toes. Furious, I poked him again, telling him no. I scared him, however, and he moved his arm suddenly and accidentally hit me with his elbow. I shoved him in response. Unfortunately, he has very bad balance, so he went tumbling down the stairs, crashing headfirst into the wall. He didn't move. Terrified, I screamed for my mom and made up a story really fast about how he tripped and I couldn't catch him in time. An ambulance was called and he was rushed to the hospital. He had internal bleeding and almost died. He had permanent brain damage on top of his autism. His memory is even worse than before and he will now probably never learn to talk. The worst part is, to this day my parents thank me for being such a good big sister. Even when I bring that up, they praise me, telling me I acted quickly and it was obviously not my fault. But it is my fault. And I will forever feel guilty. When I was very little, probably around 3 to 4, I used to play a game with my parents where I'd go to the bathroom and brush my teeth before bed, and when I got to my room, they'd pretend to be asleep and I'd find creative ways to wake them up. Being so young, I thought my dad was superhero style indestructible. And in thinking so I decided to try something that would hurt a kid like me but wouldn't harm him at all since he was big. I found a pencil laying on the desk and tried to stab him in the eye with it. Luckily, he was peeking, and stopped me just before I did it. To this day it gives me a sinking feeling in my stomach, thinking about what might have happened. In high school I sold drugs. That's not the bad part, I was kind of infamous around school for being able to get anything. Any drugs you can think of, guns, whatever. These rumors were everywhere, and I stoked them to help business. I mostly sold weed and ecstasy to rich kids with time on their hands. There was one of the richest kids in school who bought weed and X all the time from me. I didn't like him, so I overcharged him most of the time. He didn't care. Then one day he asked for heroin. I tried to gently push him away from that, because dealing in heroin is bad news. But for whatever reason, he was insistent. He wanted a bunch of heroin. He gave me $100. So, I go down the street, to a neighbor's house. I know he sells heroin. Real nice guy, but that's not the point. Long story short, I buy about $50 of heroin, and sell it to the kid the next day in school. We're still not at the bad part. The next day, the school is in mourning. Kid overdosed. The popular, athletic, and rich pretty boy took all the heroin at once. The police launched an investigation. Nobody pointed a finger at me because no one knew I sold him the heroin, out of the school's dozen or so drug dealers. Plus, I'm pretty sure they were afraid of me. The bad part is I didn't feel any remorse. I felt he made his choice and I was means to an end. I didn't lose any sleep over it. I don't think the police ever arrested anybody, and I never gave a shit about the popular douchebag who Darwined himself. That money went into my college fund. Today, I'm a mechanical engineer. Fuck it, no throwaway. Not proud, but it happened. I was involved in an all-male threesome. Just to see what it was like. Found out I was definitely straight. Edit, details, this was back in my young and wild college days, 18 to 22, when I had a profile on adultfriendfinder.com and would have 1, or 2, night stands with strangers I met on there. Yes, there actually are horny singles in your area. Anyway, I got a random message from a gay guy offering a blowjob, mulled it over for a few days, and being sexually experimental back then, I accepted the invitation. When I got there, he already had another playmate over. So, this bi guy lays down on his back, head and shoulders over the side, has me stand in front of him, and proceeds to start sucking my dick, upside down. Meanwhile, the gay guy gets on the bed and starts sucking the bi guy's huge cock. He looks up and offers me the dick. Want to try it? It's staring me in the face, hypnotizing, tempting. But I declined. He went back to sucking and stroking it. Changing positions, I laid down on the bed and the gay guy got between my legs on his knees, sucking on me while he was getting fucked from behind by the bi guy, who was also giving him a reach around. Everyone came, just not all at the same time. He even let me come in his mouth, but he spit it out. Nice guy, but I really wasn't into it. I had to close my eyes and imagine it was a female giving me the blowjob in order to stay hard and finish. I like to peel the dead skin off the bottom of my feet, not to cause pain. I started keeping the bigger pieces in a small jar. When the jar filled up, I didn't want to throw it out, so I donated it. My skin is now in a glass jar on display at the Mutter Museum in Philadelphia. I sent a second jar over there too, as well as my favorite big pieces. As long as I keep filling them up, they'll keep taking them. Jar is about 1/4 full right now. When I was 11 years old, in 2006, my little baby sister drowned in my backyard swimming pool, and died while I was at my father's house on the weekend. I was very close to my sister. I loved her with all of my heart. My mother often talks about how she misses my sister, and I agree with her. There is only one problem. I have almost no memory of my sister. My mom does not know this, and I do not know why I have such a hard time trying to remember. I obviously remember what she looks like, but I cannot remember how she acted or how I acted towards her. I can only remember a few moments of when we were together. One of the moments was when I was swimming in the pool, trying to do backflips. Yelling out to my mom, "Mom, watch me." My mom was holding my baby sister and talking to her, so she didn't hear me. I, being selfish and rude, yelled at the top of my lungs, "Stop babying her," and stormed up the deck, and into the house. I have no idea why I can remember this moment, but not any good moments. There is this moment that I dream of all the time. As I was getting in the car, on the day she died, to go to my dad's house on the weekend, She jumped into the car and gave me a tight hug goodbye. I do not know if this moment happened or not, but it just feels so real when I think about it. I hope it happened. I have no idea if this is a dark secret or not. But it is a secret. A secret that I have almost no memories of a loved one in my life. I needed to get this out. Thanks Reddit. Thanks for listening to Reddit Rundown. Give a thumbs up and subscribe, and help me get to 1,000 subs. Leave a comment below on what kind of topics or stories you would like to hear. You can also check out other videos on my channel. Thanks and have an awesome day.